What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Gobbler Effect, season number 2, episode 17 here on the Virginia Tech Hockey Network, sponsored by the Beach House Bar and Grill. My name is Chris Pierce. Happy to be back with you for another episode, joined today once again by head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies, Coach Joe Mullen. Coach, how are you today?
We're good.
Well, we're here. The final week of the regular season is upon us. You guys have JMU tonight. But before we get into this weekend, let's kind of backtrack to how last weekend went. You guys split a series against North Carolina State, a really competitive both games. Let's start with Friday night's overtime winner, Cam Kazai putting the puck in the net a little more than a minute into extra time. Talk about that game and what it meant for you guys.
I mean, they're a good team. They're ranked in the top 10 pretty consistently for the last 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, anytime you can go down there and win a game, which doesn't happen very often for a lot of teams, it's a good character win for us, good for our, I guess, rankings. I mean, it's always nice to see where you're at against the top team. So I thought we played well Friday. Made a few mistakes. Probably could have won the game in regulation, but hockey's a game of mistakes. So we went back and look at it, learn from it, and move to the next one.
Yeah, and you guys faced them once again on Saturday, though it was a different result with the Ice Pack coming out on top five of the two. What was the dynamic change between the two games, that 24 hours in between that your team faced?
I mean, it's a quick turnaround, home and homes with a little travel in between. I don't know if it was just focus or we had some injuries, which every team deals with. So it was just one of those games. I thought we played a really, really strong third period. Hit the post 3 or 4 times. Just one of those games where bounces didn't go our way. Sometimes you have those. Hate to have them at the end of the year, but sometimes you got to deal with them. We haven't really dealt with that much at all this year. So it'll be interesting to see the focus and dedication and see how they bounce back tonight.
And I know you mentioned that you guys had some injury problems, but you had one guy step up in that defensive slot, Drew Chakray, and on that first defensive line. Can you talk a little bit about his play that last weekend?
I thought it was the best weekend he's played this year. I mean, we liked him coming out of camp, so we knew we had something good with him. We didn't know how long it would take to develop because it's always a big jump from like high school and triple A, double A. It's a big jump for these kids. It's a lot more physical, a little faster, and they're out living on their own for the first time. So they're dealing with all those stresses and stuff like that. So, but he's done well. We like where he's at. I think he's going to be big for us going down the stretch, especially if we do run into an injury situation. We know he's ready to go. Thought Barrett played really well too. He hasn't played a ton this year, but he's really stepped up big when we've needed him. So it's nice to know we have some depth back there, and we don't have to rely on 2 or 3 guys to carry the load. So it'll be nice to get the D we have hurt back. They're definitely big parts of what we've done this year. So gonna rest them tonight, you guys, just to make sure they're ready for next weekend.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about the history about this program so far this year, and talk about a little individual history you had last weekend. You had Kim Kazai reach over 100 points, the fastest in Virginia Tech program history, as well as Gavin Baduzzi setting another milestone, having his 100th career game. Can you just talk a little about what those two guys meant to you so far this season? Cam with his ability to score almost every single night, same with Gavin and his ability over these past 4 years to work with his team and line mates.
I mean, they both make coaching easy and fun. When you can roll them out in any situation, you know what you're gonna get. It's funny with Cam on Friday night. It was such a an intense game from start to finish. We didn't even realize he hit it till after the game was over. So like it was on his first goal of the game. He actually hit 100 points. The game winner was actually 101. So we ended up getting a puck and getting him recognized for that. So that was fun. I think he brought it up to me. Like we knew it was close, but when you're in the game like that, it's kind of hard to track it sometimes. So glad he got recognized. I'm glad he did it. He's deserving. He works his tail off every week in practice, every game. Like you notice him constantly. Like he's just all over the place. 100 games for Gavin's pretty cool. Not a lot of guys have done that. I want to say maybe 15, 20 guys have ever played 100 games here. So, I mean, testament to him. He stays healthy, doesn't get hurt. He's a good player if you're playing that many games. There's a chance I think Dom may get to there, depending on how far we go. He's got like 8 or 9 more to get there. So hopefully we have a nice long run where he can get to that milestone too. I think it'd be good for him. He's also deserving of it. He's a hardworking kid. Probably would have already hit it. He's had some injuries over his 4 years here, so. But other than that, they're just fun. They're good kids too. Like that's the best part. Like they're probably better people than they are hockey players. So it makes it easy to come coach them every week.
Well, you guys finished league schedule and a little gauntlet you guys had in the January 4-2, those two losses coming against UNC Wilmington and NC State last weekend. What was your overall take on those six league games as you guys now prepare to face next weekend in the playoffs?
I guess we kind of looked at it twofold. I thought it was going to prepare us well for a playoff style hockey, and we'd be a little battle tested. We didn't have a ton of that throughout the year. We've kind of ran away from teams a lot this year. So a little adversity, a little battle tested, get you ready because in the playoffs there's not going to be a ton of blowouts, especially when you get to like regionals, nationals. Like there's not those 8, 9, 10, 1 games typically. And we also talked like if we could come through this stretch the second semester, I mean, we were supposed to have 8 games. So we were saying 6-2, that we would put us in a good spot going into like playoffs and regionals. And so ended up working out. We had one game canceled. We got one game tonight. So if we go 5-2 over the last 7 games, I think that was it'd be a really good stretch for us. I mean, if you would have asked me at the beginning of the year, hey, you're going to go 22-3-1, and we'll fast forward to the playoffs right now. Are you going to take it? I mean, who's not going to take that? Like that's a unreal year. It's hard to demand perfection with all these kids have going on outside of hockey, and to be that close, 21 out of what 25 games, like that's good on them.
Well, you do have an opportunity to go 5-2 tonight against James Madison at the lot. It is senior night, as you know, a special tradition we hold every year at as the last game of the season. Can you just talk a little bit about this senior class and what it's meant to you?
I mean, I think everyone holds a special place. I mean, I've been here for 15 years, so I've had like 15 senior classes. So they're all different. They all bring a different legacy to the program. Some were more builders, some were more like creators. This group is probably more culture turning. Their 4 years, they've really turned the culture around in the last 4 years. We went through some tough years where it wasn't where we wanted it to be, and this group has kind of taken it upon themselves since they were freshmen to make sure it gets to the level that they wanted to be, and it's going to stay there for years to come. Like I think they've definitely instilled that into a lot of these younger guys, and you can kind of see as these guys turn from sophomores to juniors and like freshmen to sophomore, like nothing really changes with the group. It's just like steady as she goes, and we just move to the next year.
Well, I know you still got a couple more games left with them, but going back, kind of all 4 years with this group of guys, what was your favorite memory with them?
Oh man, uh, that's tough. Probably one of the. I mean, the outdoor game's going to stand out for one. That's pretty cool. They all played in that one, so it's always fun. They were the first group that really came back in after the COVID season, so they kind of picked up where we were slacking a little bit, and I think that's kind of pushed a lot of these guys to be better every day. Overtime games are always fun. So like the last two couple against NC State, they're good ones to win. This group was involved in a game at West Virginia where we scored 3 goals in 2.5 minutes to come back and win a game. Those are all pretty cool memories.
Well, you'll get to see him one last time on the lot ice in action tonight against James Madison. Let's kind of shift gears kind of to, the playoffs and looking ahead and kind of again, what tonight, the big gear up for the playoffs. What are you looking out of your team tonight?
Consistency tonight is going to be the big thing. I thought last Saturday we were a little inconsistent at times, and another big thing I think going forward is going to be like discipline for us. Sometimes when you get in a heated game, a tight game, your emotions can get the better of you. So we've really kind of preached to that this week is to stay focused, stay in control, and use that emotion in a good way, and don't fly off the handle and put us in a bad spot. Like sometimes it happens, and we're strong enough to kill a penalty and get through it, but we don't want to put ourselves at a disadvantage when we don't have to.
Well, one last question for you. I mean, kind of a little preview of next weekend. You guys got Ryder game one Friday, 3 o'clock in Winston-Salem. Can you just give a little preview of, what to expect down for the playoffs?
Oh, it's going to be a tight game. Like we've played them before this year. We had some good results. I don't think it's going to be two games like that. They've played better lately. They got a goalie that can steal a game. They're well coached. So if we come in thinking we're just going to walk all over them, I think we're going to struggle a little bit. So that'll be the mindset once we get through tonight is focus on what we need to do to come in and be dominant next weekend. And we're looking to play 3 games. I think that's the mindset you have to have going in there. So it'll take one game at a time, kind of like we've done all year. If we play our best, we'll see what happens and on to the next game.
Oh, we're starting to look forward to it. But that'll do it for episode number 17 here of the Gobbler Effect on the Virginia Tech Hockey Network, sponsored by the Beach House Bar and Grill. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe here on the channel, as well as click notification bell for live stream and content updates this season. Coach, thank you once again for joining us. The Hokies conclude their 2024-2025 regular season tonight, Friday at the lot for senior night at Games James Madison. Tune in early here on Virginia Tech Hockey Network for pregame festivities starting at 7:10, followed then by puck drop around 7:45, 8 o'clock ish. We'll see you then. Until next time, go Hokies.